An entrepreneur is someone who takes action to make things happen. He makes those things happen at the end of the day and he gets results. And it's important we study this in Nigeria because we have a lot of complaining to do in this country. Everybody's saying what the other person didn't do. What we don't have is people who are waking up and taking action to overcome these problems profitably. We don't have people who are coming up with creative ideas to solve problems profitably. And this is what entrepreneurship is and what it's all about. However you want to define it, whatever big English you want to use is irrelevant. If you can sit down and come up with some creative ideas to solve people's problems and make profit from doing so, you are an entrepreneur. Creativity, innovation, ideas, profitability, and most importantly, if you can overcome all the challenges that doing this is going to present to you, because it's not going to be easy, I can assure you. There will be challenges. Can you apply all these things I have mentioned, overcome the challenges, and still make profit in the process? If you can, then you're an entrepreneur. So with this definition, you can see why it's very important for Nigerians to have entrepreneurs. We have uncountable problems. We have uncountable challenges. We have old ideas that are making things to work. We need people who can overcome these challenges and make profit in the process because we want them to make profit. If they don't make profit, then they won't continue and we remain in our problems. You patronize the businesses you patronize because those businesses are helping you solve your problems. You want them to continue. So you want to pay them so they can continue and you can continue to make a living. Live a better life, they make a living and do very well in whatever they do. That is entrepreneurship for you. I'm more interested in big English and big grammar. You've understood the point I have said and gave it back to me, what an entrepreneur is. And because of these traits are so important, we need more entrepreneurs in Nigeria. Complainapreneurs. That is what we have here. People who know how to complain about every single thing. Blamepreneurs. They can blame everybody in the whole world, from government, Buhari, all the senators. They can blame. What they don't do is entrepreneurship, starting up something, overcoming the challenges, and making profit doing so, bringing new ideas, coming up with new processes, making the country a better place. We need more of this. So the $1 million question is, how do you differentiate an entrepreneur from a businessman? A businessman is somebody who starts up a business in something that is already established. He's not coming up with creative ideas. The business works in a certain way. He just goes, gets his capital, invests in that business, and he does it and makes whatever profit people in that business make. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a good thing to do. It's safer, but it is less profitable. And the probability of expanding and growing to is also limited. Entrepreneurs are those who create new things. Entrepreneurs create new things. They come up with new ideas, new businesses, new processes, new way of doing things. And as much as doing things is always good, we need fresh blood. Always. Otherwise, things go stale. The economy will move forward. We need people who are coming up with new ideas to create the new generation. That's what entrepreneurship is all about. And that's how it's different from regular business. Entrepreneurship is creating new. Regular business is doing things the way things have been. And if you say you want to do things the way things have been, it's a very simple thing to do. Go and look at how people have done it before and then copy them. But if you're going to do something new, then you need to come up with new ideas and new ways of doing things. An entrepreneur cannot say it has not been working before. No, it's your job to make it work. You're the one who's responsible for coming up with an idea that will make it work. That is your responsibility. And that is the job of an entrepreneur. That is what you are supposed to do. So let us go ahead and get that done. We've just defined entrepreneurship. I've told you why it's important in Nigeria. Now, what is the key element of entrepreneurship? I have said it here over and over again. Creativity and your ability to innovate. Entrepreneurs are those who can create. They know how to innovate, adapt things that already exist and make new things out of them. That is what we need. Creativity. Your ability to create. Creating things is not an easy thing, but this is the number one characteristics an entrepreneur in Nigeria needs to have. Creativity and innovation. Innovation is taking what already exists and adapting it into something that is newer, a newer version of things, new app, new phone, new stuff. An entrepreneur needs to do these things if he's going to survive. He needs to be able to create, he needs to be able to innovate. These are important skills. And the main barriers to these two skills are negative mindsets. When your mindset feels that I can't do it, it won't work, then you're not going to create, you're not going to innovate. When you don't do your research, you don't try new things, you won't create, you won't need to innovate, and you're not going to be successful as an entrepreneur. You're better off going to do business. If you're going to be successful as an entrepreneur, you need to know that it's your responsibility to create. And when you create, not everybody is going to follow you or believe in you the first time. You need to make your ideas solid for yourself. You need to look into your ideas and ensure that these ideas will make it big time. It's your responsibility. You are the one to do it. And that's what an entrepreneur needs to have in Nigeria. Creativity and innovation. Look more into this, but it's important that you're aware that creating is your job. Innovating and adapting and improving things is your job also. So after looking at creativity and innovation, what other thing is important to an entrepreneur? Profit. An entrepreneur needs to make profit. If you're not making profit, your business is going nowhere. All your creativity and innovation is going nowhere. Profit is what you need to make. So what is profit? A lot of people just have an idea of what profit is. They don't think of how is this important to entrepreneurship. Every decision you need to make as an entrepreneur should be valued around profit. You want to create a new idea to do something new. How are you going to make a profit from it? Is it profitable? What is profit? The amount of money you make as excess when you put your income or projected income minus the cost of doing that thing into account. So if it costs you 10,000 naira to do something, then you're expecting 20,000 naira from that business. Your profit is the difference, it's 10,000 naira. So you want to ensure that whatever decision you're taking, it's going to add to your profit. Why is this profit important? Because if you're not making money, you won't continue. Profit is like blood. If there's no blood in your body, there is no life. So blood is priority. That's why we eat every day. We need to build up our blood. We need to build our profit and our business by focusing on profit. Established businesses don't need to think about profit. The businesses have been established. There's standard profit. There's a profit you're expected to make at a certain time in a certain kind of business. It's already established and set. But as an entrepreneur, this thing has not been set. You are coming up with these ideas. So you are to build the profit into your business model. Before you start anything new, you must ask yourself how it will add to your profit. And you need to ensure that you minimize costs and ensure you get the maximum amount of money that can come in from your business if you are going to succeed as an entrepreneur. So innovation, creativity, and third is profit. This is what you need to focus on and ensure that you do and use to make decisions. Creating, innovating, profit, all these things are nice ideas, but one reason why entrepreneurs fail on a regular basis is because they do not put planning into consideration. It's very easy to think planning is not important. You can do away with planning. But as an entrepreneur, you're doing something new. You want to make sure that you fail on paper and correct your mistakes on paper before going into the real world. You want to ensure that you have practiced and done your plans, gone through your plans, tested your plan, ensure that what you want to do is rock solid before you even start. Because if you don't do that, the probability of you failing in the real world is even higher. So to reduce your failure rate, you need to think about planning. Plan, test, not just to plan, test your plan, do research on your plan, develop your plan until it's rock solid before you think of investing a dime in your business. This will help you to reduce your level of success. A lot of businesses fail because they fail to plan. Most businesses that fail because they fail to plan and they rush ahead to start the business, which is a new thing, only to find out that there's a new problem they never imagined will happen. Since what you're doing is new, planning is important. If it was an old thing, you don't need to plan as much because this thing has been already established and the way and the road is clear. But you're going into unknown territory. You need to plan. So planning is very important. But when we say planning, what do we mean? Number one, we talk about your vision. What vision do you have? You need to write it down. How are you going to achieve that vision? What is your mission? You need to write those steps down. And then what guidelines are you going to use to guide you to be able to achieve? You need to write that down. That's the first part of your plan. Your vision, your mission, and your guidelines. You should work on this and do some research, find out if this can work, test it out in the real world. And when you know that this is done, that's the first part of your plan. You go to the second part of your plan. The first part is like your strategic plan, your vision, your mission, and your guidelines. That's your general strategy, your strategic plan. And then the second part of your plan is your tactical plan. How are you going to deliver on the strategic plan that you have set out to achieve? If you've found a good vision, you know how you're going to achieve that vision, and you know the general guidelines that will help you to succeed, then how do we break it down into proper business? That is now what we talk about, your strategic implementation, your business plan, your tactical plan. You have your strategic plan and you have your tactical plan. How do you put this thing together? There are 4 steps to a tactical plan for your business. They are: number 1, what is your customer satisfaction strategy? What strategy are you going to use to satisfy your customers? What are you going to do to make them satisfied? Have you thought about it? Have you written it down? Have you put it into steps? This is what you need to do. That's the first part of your tactical plan as a business, as a new entrepreneur. The second part is your business or product, service, and service delivery plan. Your products and services, how are you going to deliver it to your customer? What process are you going to use? Where will you start? And how will you get it done? Have you thought about it? Have you really looked at these things to see that it can work? That's your customer, your product, and service delivery plan. That's the second part. What product will you sell? How will you deliver it? How will you produce it? You need to put these things on paper. You need to write it down. And then thirdly, your human resource plan, your people plan. Who are the people who are going to help you to achieve this goal? Where are the suppliers? Who are your workers? What government are you going to work with? What staff are you going to work with? What partners will you work with? How are you going to satisfy them? How are they going to satisfy you? Have you thought about this? Have you put this down? You need to have a human resource plan, human resource strategy plan. And then lastly, you need to have a financial security plan. Now you have the customer satisfaction plan, your delivery, product and service delivery plan, your human resource plan. Then what about finances? It's not just about profit. Profit is one thing. Capital is another thing. You have cash on hand. How much are you going to pay staff? How long will it take you to get your money back? Your financial security plan. Do you have a plan for your business to move forward and succeed in the long term? You need to have a plan. How exactly you're going to do this planning should not really bother you. You should just have the plan in place. It's not an academic exercise. Planning. You're planning so that you can prevent issues from happening in the future, so that you can fail on paper, make adjustments. It's not an academic exercise. Nobody is going to ask, no customer is going to ask you, give me your plan before I buy your product. Your plan is to help you to be able to achieve your business, vision, mission through your guidelines. So this is basically what planning is about. And then the last thing we talked about was, what are the things that affect your plan? What are the external and internal factors that will affect your plan? You could plan everything you want to plan, but at the end of the day, there are some factors that will affect your plan, however, whether you like it or not. And number 1, these are the external factors and internal factors. External factors like the pestle, that's what we call it, politics. How does politics affect your plan? You may have a plan, you want to start a business in this way, but the politicians have said X, Y, Z. How does it affect your plan and how you're going to work around it? These factors are things you need to identify and know how exactly you're going to work around it. Politics, how will you work around politics? How will you work around the economy? If the economy is tough, how can you plan to be able to overcome this tough economy to make profit? The social environment, how are you going to deal with people's character to be able to make your profit? Your environment, physical environment, how are you going to deal with that? Your technology, what technology can you use to make your plan a better reality? So these are things you need to think of and you need to put into consideration when you are making a plan. These are external factors acting in your business. Internal factors include things like your strengths, your weaknesses. What do you know that you can do very well? Have you put it into consideration? Have you made that the highlight of your business? What is your weakness? What thing do you think can draw you back? Have you found a way to protect yourself against these things? Now, these are the things you need to look at. When you plan, it's not good enough to just have a plan. You need to look at how these external and internal factors will affect your plan. Other internal factors that will affect your plan include things like your knowledge. Do you have knowledge about the business? Your skill level. Do you have the skills to go into that business? And then lastly, your capacity and your motivation. Do you have the capacity to do it? Are you motivated enough to do it? You need to consider all these factors and put it into your plan so that your chances for success are going to be large by you being creative, innovative, thinking of profit, having a strategic plan, and putting that into practice, you are going to make Nigeria a better place through entrepreneurship.